I forgot anything we talked about the other day, if I forgot, you guys just bring it up, okay? One of you can just bring it up. It's fun. You'll have a good time. You guys, I promise you'll have a good time.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Barely.
I put these on.
Testing. You can hear me? All right. I can't hear myself.
Say something.
Can you hear?
Testing. Testing.
I can hear you fine. Yeah, we're good.
I got a golden ticket.
That's the winner!
Good Saturday morning. My name is David Sharf, and this is the winning ticket coming live from DraftKings at Casino Queen. Directly to my right is Mike Yu. Further on down the line is my friend Ryan Kinder. Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey, good morning, David.
Good morning.
All right, guys, let's talk a little bit. Let's get right into week one. Mizzou, Mike, your thoughts on the game Thursday night?
They played a fantastic game. The new guy, Brady Cook at quarterback, was definitely the right choice for him to start the season. He looked really calm, poised, definitely the right pick, and should be interesting to see how he goes as the competition level increases, because I think it's going to get a little tougher for him as they get into SEC play, that's for sure.
Yeah, Ryan, your thoughts?
After seeing Brady Cook play, I don't have a lot of hope for this season. I'm ready to hand it over to the freshman, I think.
Really, already?
Yep.
Even with a big win?
Yep, Sam Horn or Tyler Macon, either one. I don't, this season I'm already ready to scrap after this week.
That was pretty quick.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about earlier this week, the over-under for season wins is 5.5. You guys both been touting the over 5.5. Is that correct? Ryan, we'll start with you.
Yes, I'm still on it, but because of the strength of the schedule, not because I think we're going to be a killer team this year. I think I still have faith in Drink, but I think we're another year or two away before we're an SEC team.
All right. What games do you think we're going to steal this year to make it over 5.5?
Possibly, I hope Kansas State. I think next week's super important because we got a 48% chance to win, and that seems to be the games we've been losing in the prior years. The games that are 50-50, we haven't been winning.
All right, Mike, your thoughts on the over/under 5.5 Mizzou wins?
Yeah, I think 5.5 actually is going to be a tough number for them. I'm not sure if they're going to get there or not, but it all comes down to, like Ryan was saying, these 50-50 games like Kansas State, Vanderbilt, teams of that nature that can win, should win. But, Missouri in the past hasn't always done well with those types of games. So we'll see how things continue for them.
All right, Mark, we'll start with you. Starting just with local, Illinois loses late last night, 33-30, I believe. Did you watch the game?
I'm sorry, did you say Illinois, Indiana?
Yeah.
Yeah, Illinois had that game. Some bad things happened to them throughout the course of the game. Touchdown in the first half that got overruled. I think Mike Pereira was the analysis on the game, rules analysis. He was saying it was a touchdown. The announcers thought it was a touchdown. Everybody thought that game was a touchdown, but yet somehow the refs, in their infinite wisdom, ruled it no touchdown, and they end up just getting 3 points out of the the play. And at the end of the day, those 4 points come to matter because it just changes the entire course of the game from there on out.
Yeah, for sure.
And then some big turnovers by the Illini, and I think that's what they're going to have to really be careful of as the season goes on. I think they have potential to be 6-7 win team and get to a bowl, but if you're going to be turning the ball over in the fourth quarter inside the 10-yard line, you're not going to be winning 6-7 games. That's that was a game that was theirs. It was in their pocket, and I may sound a little frustrated. That's because I had the Illini last night.
Yeah, of course. Well,
I had the money line.
Yeah.
I didn't even want the points. I'm like, just give me the money line.
As a true gambler speaks. I love it, right? Ryan, do you have any thoughts on the Illinois game before we move on?
Yeah, I liked seeing Mizzou's old quarterback, Connor Bazelak, coming in there with the game-winning drive because that's what he was missing with us. He always played safe, and he really let the ball fly yesterday. I didn't like Illinois going to the prevent defense at the end of the game.
Right.
I think that's what prevented them from winning. They played good all game, and then they, at the end of the game, they backed up and they let them throw. Should have played defense.
Ryan's 100% right. That prevent defense prevents you from winning so often. And the night before with the Purdue-Penn State game, same situation. Purdue gets back in that prevent defense, and Penn State walked right down the field.
Unbelievable, right? Prevent. When are they going to learn the prevent defense doesn't do what it's supposed to do, right? All right, we're here live at DraftKings at Casino Queen, man. Winning ticket. We have got some great news. I know we announced it last week, but we are on Friday nights at 6:00 on 590 The Fan for 1 hour from 6 to 7, right after Bernie Miklasz. Guys, week 1, here we are. Any thoughts, Ryan? We'll start with you. What are you most excited about this week?
I'm looking forward to the North Carolina Appalachian State game. I think with the new quarterback, new year, I think I got a lot of hope for them. I think they could be a sleeper this year.
All right, let's talk about your handicapping process. And I know it's you go off the mainstream a little bit. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I try to find the games everyone else isn't betting. I like to bet the MAC, or, I like to find a lot of those lines aren't as sharp because you don't have as many eyes on those games.
Mike?
Man, I love betting the dogs. If they're barking, I'm all over it. So, I think the general public, as a rule, they love betting favorites. They love betting overs. I'm a little bit on the contrarian side of that. I'm going to be more on the dogs. I'm looking for unders. Not to say that I don't like a good favorite, Right. Alabama seems to cover that first half number for me more often than not. But I just give me a good value on a dog. So I'll take that all day.
All right, little heads up what we got going on a little bit later today at 10 o'clock. Sportsbook manager here at DraftKings at Casino Queen, Mike Hasty, is going to join us and give us a little insight on what he likes this weekend. We didn't get a chance to talk to Mike Whistler last week, a little technical difficulties. We're going to have him on right after Mike Hasty and talk a little golf and some scores he made this year and learn how to bet golf. Guys, I don't know if you bet golf, but you're going to really enjoy this segment because Mike's really, really unbelievable at it. And we're going to close the show, obviously, with our man, Clemson John, who's a regular on the show, and he's going to handicap. He's in Anchorage, Alaska. We did the interview at midnight while he was waiting for a flight back from a cruise airport. We had to wait an hour for him. He kept getting kicked out of places to do the interview from. And we finally found a place, I guess about 12:45 our time here in St. Louis to do the interview. So we'll finish the show with him. Let's go a little bit about the new. Are we on? All right, playoff structure coming in 2026. All right, Ryan, we'll start with you. What do you think about this new playoff structure? 12 teams, 2026.
I'm really looking forward to a home game for a college playoff. I think that atmosphere is going to be, you can't compare it to anything. The college kids are going to go nuts. But truly, honestly, I think in the last couple of years, there's only been 3 teams that really have a chance every year. But, hey, you never know, and I'm excited to, see it happen.
Mike?
The excitement of putting in 12 teams now versus standard 4 that they've had the last few years, I think it just adds a lot of excitement, I think Ryan is dead on when he says, hey, it's really going to just be the top 2 or 3 times. And those are probably still going to be the teams that win the championship year in and year out. But now we don't have to hear the issues with teams, 5, 6, 7. We should have been in. We shouldn't have been in. Those teams are definitely going to get in. Sure, you're still going to have the same issue with teams 13, 14, 15. But you know what? When you're getting down that far in the order, they realistically don't really have a chance to win the championship anyway. So I'm going to be interested to see, can the team that is 4, 5, 6, 7, can they win the championship? Can they make a run?
Yeah.
That's a lot of games they got to win in a row. What, 3, 4 games in a row that they're going to have to win. So against the best of the best, week in, week out.
And from my understanding, the best are going to get a bye, right?
Yeah, first top 4 will still get a bye.
Yeah, the top 4 still get a bye, so that makes it even harder for the other 8 teams, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But as a Wisconsin fan, I'm excited to see that maybe my boys might get in from time to time now.
Well, if you guys have seen this show before, I can't get away from Green Bay Packer fans, man. My co-host last week, Greg Damon, is a diehard. Robert, who's been on the show for the last 10 months. These are diehard. You're a great diehard Green Bay Packer fan.
Those are my boys.
I can't get away from Green Bay Packer fans. What is going on? Is everybody just become a Green Bay Packer fan? Have you always been a Green Bay Packer fan?
Born and raised in the Green Bay area.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so you have an excuse.
Yeah, I grew up 40 miles from Lambeau Field, so that was my winter home.
Do you have a little ownership?
I do have a little ownership, and I've got a sister that owns tickets and has season tickets up there. So, and an uncle, I know a lot of people that have tickets and availability to tickets. So, I am very fortunate in the fact that I get to go up quite often.
I now just became a Green Bay Packer fan because he has tickets. I'll be honest with you. That's it. That's it. I'm only a fan for if I get to go to a game.
Going to games is fantastic,
Sure.
It's a fantastic venue. Ryan, what some of the great venues you've been to over time?
I've just been a homer pretty much with the Kansas City Chiefs, that I just stay, we got one of the greatest stadiums here with the fans. So, I just like to go to those games. I'm still a homer with the Rams.
Really?
I still have love for the Rams, just not Stan.
My stomach just turned.
There's not a lot of that around here, is there?
But, it's not a lot, but it is amazing how many people are still Rams fans. Yeah. It's hard to let go. We went through, Ryan, you're not old enough, but Mike and I, we're old enough to remember the St. Louis Cardinals. And when they left and the Bidwells took them to Arizona, and I followed the Cardinals to Arizona. I went to college at Arizona State a few years after they moved there. And I used to go to games and root for every team that played the Cardinals. Yeah. So, I had to become a Cowboys fan, a Giants fan, which made me sick. I didn't know which made me sicker, rooting for the Cowboys or the Giants or the Eagles, because I grew up with the Cardinals here. And then I had to do it all over again when I moved back to St. Louis. So, at least we got a championship out of the deal, right?
Right, exactly.
All right, let's go. Let's talk a little bit Green Bay Packers, Mike, since that's your team. What are your feelings on your team this year?
There's a lot of negative talk because they lost Devontae Adams, but in all honesty, I think the Green Bay Packers are going to be a better team than what they have been in the last few years. They brought in the special team coach from the Raiders, that Bisaccia. From everything I'm hearing in camp, he is hard-nosed, and he's getting the most out of his players on the special teams, which, if people remember watching that San Francisco Packer playoff game last year, special teams were an absolute disaster. And it wasn't just that one game. It was year-round. So I'm looking to see how the special teams looks this year. But defense, the struggles the Packers have had on defense the last few years has been up the middle, stopping the run. Their rush defense has not been one of the top units. Stopping the passes they've been pretty good at with Jair Alexander, but this year they brought in Jaron Reed, former Seattle Seahawk, and they brought him in on the defensive line. They drafted Devontae Wyatt from the Georgia Bulldogs, last year's national championship team, and then they also drafted a middle linebacker, in Quay Walker. And this kid is lightning fast. He is going to be running down everybody from sideline to sideline, and pairing him up with Devondre Campbell, last year's first round All-Pro middle linebacker. I'm telling you, that middle defense right now looks stout. And then back to the outside linebacker, you got Rashawn Gary, fourth-year guy. I'm telling you, if you get a chance to come out here to DraftKings, they got a great setup in there, and put a small bet on Rashawn Gary for Defensive Player of the Year. He is going to be the next TJ Watt. I see 16 plus sacks in his future this year, and I just love the defense, and I like where the team's going.
And
So,
what kind of price can you get on that? Do you know?
I believe I got 35-1.
That's fantastic. I'm in. I don't even like the bet, and I'm anything 35-1. I'm in.
I told
That's
you
where I'm
before,
at.
I love value.
Yeah.
Give me something with some value.
So that's so funny you say that. We're going to talk about that, but Ryan, I want your thoughts on Kansas City and some of the moves they made in the offseason and how they look this year.
I definitely did not like getting rid of Tyreek Hill. I definitely think your weapons make a man. Just like I'm curious to see if his team without Devontae Adams, if Aaron Rodgers is that guy without his weapons. But, I think Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league, but still it's going to hurt not having Tyreek Hill. I think that's going to be a big hole in our offense.
Yeah, that's one of the toughest divisions in football. One of the value, we talk about value. I talk about that every single show. And it's easy to pick Alabama to win it all, right? I mean, they're the favorite. I don't want my money tied up the whole season on a favorite. And not to say that I don't think they can win, obviously, but I'm looking for value. And one of the things I found value in, and even in the toughest division, I think there's 10 to 13 teams in the AFC, since we're talking pro, that could possibly get to the Super Bowl. And I like the Chargers a little bit. They're 14-1, 18-1, depending where you're looking. But I like the Raiders at 40-1. I just think they have a chance. I mean, it might be a small chance, but I'm getting 40-1. If you look at the prices of the rest, I mean, Kansas City's 10-1. Losing Tyreek Hill, that's not a value to me. If I can take the Raiders, I mean, it's gonna be hard for the Raiders to get to the Super Bowl, but I'm getting 40-1. That's why I talk about value. So, guys, can you find some value? Yeah, somebody to win the Super Bowl conference. What do you got, Mike?
Well, to go off on your Raiders bet, for instance, I think the one thing that gets undervalued when it comes to NFL football and college also is coaching. The Raiders last year, let's not forget that the Raiders last year had the John Gruden experiment go up in flames, and then they put in Bisaccia to be the head coach for the rest of the year. And it's not easy to win when you're going through a transaction. Well, now they brought in one of the most sought after assistant coaches in the last 7-8 years in Josh McDaniels. Mm-hmm. He's a second-time coach. It was out in Denver a number of years back. And, whether or not that was a complete failure or not, that's for, different people to comment on. But I think with a little bit more seasoning that he's had the last 5+ years in New England underneath Belichick, I think McDaniels is going to be a great coach. And, man, Derek Carr throwing to Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow is a great wide receiver that is overlooked often. Yeah. And then one of the best tight ends in all football in Darren Waller.
So that's one of the things. If Waller and these guys can stay healthy, they can only double one of them, right?
Yep.
So you got the other two one-on-one.
Yeah.
I mean, defense plays a big part of it too, but that offense looks, if everybody's healthy, I think 40-1 is a value.
40-1 is a great value on that pick. I love it.
Ryan?
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that on the future bets, you definitely can get some value if you pay attention to the moves. The lines move much slower on that. I know last year the Rams got Matt Stafford, and it took a week or two before they were favorites. They were still middle of the pack when you knew they had Matt Stafford at quarterback instead of Jared Goff. So, keep your eyes open and watch those moves and, jump on one of those value picks.
You have one?
Not yet.
Not yet. So it's a wait and see.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not even there yet, but Thursday night, first game. How excited are you guys?
Oh, my goodness.
I know we got.
When they announced that first game, That's like fantastic. That's the game everybody wants, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Do we have a pick yet? I know it's early. I know we got almost a week away. Either one of you have a pick?
I got to stick with my Rams, but that's being a homer again. I think I might be, because the Bills could be Super Bowl champs this year. I think if Josh Allen makes the next step, I think they could be Super Bowl favorites.
Yeah, and I think they are one of them for sure. They're right with Tampa Bay, right? Yeah,
for sure.
I like 6.5 to 1 to win it all.
I think the Rams here on opening Thursday night, though, as a home dog, are going to feel a little slighted. They're like, wait a second, we just won the Super Bowl,
Right.
and now we're a 2.5-point dog at home week 1. What's going on here? So I think Sean McVay is going to be able to have a few things to say to his team to get them pumped up and energized. They're playing the Bills. I don't think they really need much more to get them excited and ready to go for the opening game. But being a little excited as an underdog, I'm with Ryan. I like the Rams on Thursday night. And, I'm not necessarily a guy that likes to take 2.5 points. Give me the money line.
Yeah, there we go.
Let's just give me the money line. Give me the plus 120. I'd rather have plus 120 in the value versus
Less
the
than a field
2.5
goal.
points.
Less than a field goal.
Less
right?
than a field goal, exactly.
Yeah.
If the Rams are good, if the Rams are going to cover 2.5, they're most likely going to win the game.
Yeah. I mean, home dogs, right?
Right.
Home dogs, Super Bowl champions, home dogs coming out of the gate.
There's 10 home dogs week 1 of the NFL season this year.
I could see your eyes light
Oh
up.
my God.
Look at I love it.
Who dog of week 1 of the NFL season?
You see the fire? Is it 10 home dogs? Oh my God.
Oh my God.
The kiosks are less than 30 feet to our right.
Oh, I've already got a few tickets in my pocket.
We're gonna talk about those in a few minutes. Ryan, I know you put a few tickets in. So week 1, college. Let's just get to it. Let's see who you guys like. Ryan, let's start with you. Give us some picks so we can get in action.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I really like the North Carolina game. They got Drake May at quarterback instead of Sam Howell, which a lot of people would think is a downgrade. But I think a new quarterback sometimes good for a team. And they've been, coming into every year ranked and disappointing. And I think this is the year it's the opposite, that they're going to slide under the radar and finish this year top 15 team.
So
Hey, Ryan, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Does the line movement on that game, because I know it started off, North Carolina was about a 2.5 point favorite when the line opened up here in the summer. And the line has moved all the way to App State as a 2.5 point favorite now. Big 5-point swing. Does that bother you at all when you're making those picks, or do you just not even look at that or think about it? Or
Oh no, I definitely pay attention to it. I just if to be honest with you, North Carolina is one of those teams I've won big and lost big with. I have a lot of faith in them, but it definitely is scary. But they didn't look. They had FAMU as an open game, and I thought they really should have blown the doors off them, and that was a little worrisome too. But I still have faith in them this year.
Right. Well, they got a great head coach there, that's for sure. So, Mac, if anybody can do it, Mac's the guy.
all right, so we got North Carolina. Give us a spread.
North Carolina, I think I like them by 2 scores.
Okay, what's the line?
Wow.
1.5.
Wow.
Can you and me make a friendly little wager on that one?
Wait a second.
I'll take App State in 2 scores.
Well, I tell you what's great about being here at DraftKings at Casino Queen, I'm telling you, you can move the line, right? So you can move the line and get a bigger plus number. If you think they're going to win by 2 scores, the line's only -1.5. You can move the line.
Right.
So you can -1.5, -2.5, -3.5. You can move it, right?
Right. Hey, David, you're 100% right. I do that with a lot of my baseball bets. Baseball, you can move if I like a particular team to win and I think it's going to be a blowout, sometimes I'll lay 2.5, 3.5 runs on a particular game just to get that plus 200, 240, 250.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's a fantastic way. The kiosk in here at DraftKings they're phenomenal. They let you do so much. And now they're doing even in-game parlays. So you can make multiple bets on the same game. That's something that just started recently. It's a fantastic option. And I love these kiosks in here. I can spend hours just at a kiosk even without making a bet.
Yeah,
they're fantastic.
Just pull up a chair.
But unfortunately, I do make many bets. So
all right. Hey, Ryan. All right, what's next up? What do you got?
Oh, I really am going to stick with the SEC. I like Georgia again over Oregon. I just think the SEC is the superior. I think that, that's as close as you can get to pro football. and I think they're going to push Oregon around. That they're not used to those SEC lines.
What's the line?
The line on that game, I believe, is 14,
It's at 16 right now, I believe,
16.
as of this morning.
Oh, that's a big movement.
I'll tell you this, I'm with Ryan on that one. Bo Nix transferred from Auburn to Oregon, and he does nothing for me. The quarter, I'm sure he's a great kid and all, but as the leader of my football team at quarterback, I'm not sure if Bo Nix is exactly the guy I'm going to get all fired up about and get behind. So great runner, just little struggles in the years at Auburn with the throwing game. So,
all right, Ryan, I know you got another one in there.
Yeah, again, I like Arkansas over Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati beats up on the easier opponents, but when they face, again, an SEC team, they lost, Desmond Ridder, their quarterback, led them to 2 undefeated seasons, but I don't think they've played a team like Arkansas. And again, I think that's going to be another blowout. That's the theme today.
All right, what's the line?
The line on that is
6.5.
6.5, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll tell you this, Cincinnati lost a lot of talent to the NFL draft last year. You wouldn't think a team like the Cincinnati Bearcats is going to be losing a lot of talent, but Alec Pierce at wide receiver, Sauce Gardner, one of the top cornerbacks. But they lost a few cornerbacks, a few receivers. They say Cincinnati is loaded up and ready to go again. I'm really interested in watching that game today with you, Ryan, and seeing what the Cincinnati and the Arkansas do, because I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. So,
all right, Ryan, we wrapped up, or we got another one?
My last pick of the day, I like Utah over Florida. I think Utah's got one of the best defenses in college football, and I think that's going to be a very low-scoring game, but I like Utah.
You know the spread?
Yep, they are 3-point favorites on the road.
Okay. Mike, you got an opinion?
that's a home dog there.
Yeah.
You're going against a home dog, Ryan. Come on, you're killing me here. But I actually do agree. That game right there was a pass for me. Yeah, it's another really interesting game that I can't wait to see what happens and what the outcome is, because Utah's loaded. And a lot of people are thinking Utah might be able to get to the national championship Final Four this year. So
really?
Yeah, and I'll tell you this, week 5, Utah, UCLA at UCLA, that's going to be a fantastic game, because that winner of that game could very well be undefeated at the end of the year and make a serious case for the top 4 in playoffs.
Okay, Mike, let's roll with your picks. What's first up?
Well, one of my first picks is actually a late night game. So if you have a little trouble here throughout the course of the day, maybe a late night get me back to even game. I'm all over Boise State going out to Corvallis and Oregon State. So they're returning 19 of the top 21 tacklers last year. Defense last year was fantastic. Only allowed 19 points a game, about 360 yards. They got an experienced quarterback in Bachmeier. Thrown for over 6,000 yards his last 2 years. So give me the Boise, give me Boise State on the road week 1. Again, they're getting 2.5. If you like a little insurance policy, sure, go ahead, lay the 110 and take 2.5. But hey, if you're like me, let's just do money line, baby. Let's do the money line. You get them off at 120, 125, and so that's one of my first picks right there.
You bet before we get to the next pick, you bet both. Do you take the spread and the money line when you're taking the dog?
It will depend. Sometimes if a line is under 3, generally speaking, I'll just do a money line. I'll take the plus 120. Sure, from time to time it will get me burned. But if the line is in the 6 to 7 to 8 range, mostly I'll take the points. Maybe sprinkle a little bit of my bet on the money line, because when you're getting up there, you're getting plus 350 or so. So you can do a little bit of both and still come out a winner, even if they don't quite get the outright win. But Northwestern's a great example last week. Northwestern was getting 11 points. They come right out, win on the, they were a great money line. Hey, I was happy to get the cash the ticket with the plus 11, but why didn't I bet the money line on that one?
Wait, that's all we've been talking about, right?
I know, and then,
right?
And then I screw up.
Where's the money line there? Well, there had to be like plus 380.
It was 450.
450.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. All right. Next up, what do you got?
Well, I'm going. I'm a type of guy that when I do lay big favorite, when I play big favorites, I like to play them in the first half. So I'm a big Alabama first half guy. I've been making that bet now for a number of years, and I almost do it instinctually week in and week out. Last 4 years, they've covered at a rate of 76%, 35-11 last 4 years. So, but this Bama team is loaded. Bryce Young at quarterback is going to be the real deal. He's expected to be a top 3 pick in the NFL draft next year. So it'll be interesting to see what him and CJ Stroud at Ohio State, how they come through this year, so they can be those top 3 picks. But yeah, they always start off the year really good and blow teams out. Whether it's Miami last year, Mizzou, Duke, the last few years, they get out heavy and they hit hard in the first half. So Nick Saban's the kind of guy, though, he doesn't like to embarrass teams. So in the second half, after they get out to that nice, big, comfortable lead, he puts in a lot of the second, third-year guys, which is one of the reasons why when he loses so many guys in the draft from one year to the next, those second and third string guys, they've already played a lot of football. You know, they've gotten in a lot of games in the second half of games and so forth. And so they're experienced and ready to go. But this year's defense, Will Anderson's leading the way. I'd be shocked if he's not the first defensive player taken off the board in the NFL draft next year. He is a monster on that Alabama defense, and he's helped out plenty by Henry Tuo at linebacker. And then they've got transfer in Eli Ricks in the backfield, cornerbacks, to go along with Jordan Battle at safety. So the defense loaded. Offenses, they've got Jahmyr Gibbs from Georgia Tech that they got to transfer in from. This is a guy that had over 700 yards pass catching along with 1,200 yards of rushing the last 2 years at Georgia Tech. He's going to come right in and take over for Brian Anderson from last year and go without a flaw. And I expect them to wipe the floor with Utah State in the first half today. So line's big. It's 27 right now. It may be up to 27.5, 28, but anybody who's watched Alabama football knows that, 27 points is nothing for them in the first half.
Well, that's a huge first half line.
That's a huge first half line.
That's a huge. Ryan, any comments before we go any more picks in? Any comments?
A sneaky bet I like on that instead of the line is I like to bet Alabama both halves because, like he said, when the second string comes in, Nick Saban's very serious, and their second string's most teams' first string.
Yeah, wow.
Again, and to go off of what Ryan just said, again, that same day parlay that you can do here at DraftKings, you can bet both of those positions, first half, second half here at DraftKings on those kiosks. And now you're going to get a much better number, than what you're going to get if you do them individually. And if that is something that you like, you can maybe get it up to like plus 145 by doing both the first and second half instead of laying 110, so it's a great way to go about it.
All right, next up, what do you got?
I'm going to Monday night.
Monday night.
Monday night.
Oh, wait. Later on, we got Clemson John. I can't wait for your.
Oh man, me and Clemson John, I think are going to think a lot here. Again, another big favorite in Georgia Tech in Clemson game, but Clemson is gonna. I just don't see how Georgia Tech can keep up with them. Georgia Tech's head coach is Jeff Jenkins. It's his fourth year. He's got that Scott Frost analysis going on. He needs to win or he is gone. And he's won 3 games. He's been 3-9, 3-7, 3-8 the last 3 years. And I don't see him even getting to 3 games this year. The Georgia Tech team is just not very good. I just said about the Alabama game where they lost their best running back. Georgia Tech did to Alabama, but there's going to be a lot of problems with that Georgia Tech team. They finished last year, their last 2 games of last year, they got outscored 100-0. So now opening up the next year, here comes Clemson. Oh, and by the way, did I mention that Clemson has 7 defensive linemen that they expect to be drafted in next year's draft?
Yeah.
7 defensive linemen and 2 first-rounders. Miles Murphy and Brian Breesy are 2 of the best defensive linemen in the country. And Georgia Tech is going to have to run against these guys. And that's all they do. 60% of their offense is running the ball. And I just don't think that they're going to be able to get anything going against Clemson defensive line.
All right, guys. Hey, you got anything to add before we take a quick break?
No.
All right, guys. We have to take a quick break. When we come back, more with Mike Yu and Ryan Kinder. We'll be right back.
Domination. I've got a golden ticket.
That's a winner!
Welcome back to the Winning Ticket. My name is David Sharf. Right next to my right is Mike Yu, and on the far side is Ryan Kinder. Guys, man, we're having a good time talking some football, but I want to switch it up a little bit. Let's be homers a little bit, talk some Cardinal baseball. I can't go a day without talking a little bit of baseball because we're headed into Cardinals, man. A lot of fun watching them right now. Ryan, start with you. Your thoughts on the Cardinals, just in general this season, and what's happening now?
Ever since the All-Star break, I can't say one negative thing about the Cardinals. Ever since then, those moves I didn't think was enough at starting pitcher, but boy, was I wrong. Jordan Montgomery, he's looking like an ace.
Yeah.
That was a great steal. I really liked Bader, so I was not a fan of the pick, the trade at first, but wow, that's paying off for us.
Yeah. Mike?
You think Flaherty's going to be able to come back and add some value here at the end of the year for him?
I think we just banked too much on it. I think that would be a great bonus, but I don't want us to, count on it because the last couple of years it seems like we've needed them, and it hasn't happened.
Right. Well, I think I've already let the cat out of the bag. I am a Brewers fan. I'm a Wisconsin guy in general.
I know.
But I'll tell you this. You know what? My Brewers are not playing very well right now, and it doesn't look like they're even going to make the playoffs. Living here in St. Louis for 22 years, I am 100% rooting for the Cardinals. I would love to see that trio of Wainwright, Molina, Pujols. What a storybook that would be for those three guys to go off in the sunset together with another ring on their fingers. That would just be the best thing ever.
So we talk about that, right? And how well they're playing, and you still can get 30-1 to win the World Series.
Ridiculous.
Somebody still explain to me how you can get the way the Cardinals are playing, how you can get 30-1 to win the World Series. Yeah. Ryan, I can't figure it out.
Doesn't make sense to me. And because we always play the Dodgers tough. I get the Dodgers are great this year, but us versus the Dodgers, we always seem to show out when we play the Dodgers.
It's unbelievable, right?
Who thought the Atlanta Braves were winning the World Series last year at this time with a month to go in the season?
Right.
Nobody.
Yeah. The Cardinals, everybody, every year. And I talked, Greg Damon was with me last week, and we always question Mo, right? And with the two pitchers we got this year, I mean, especially Montgomery, right? I mean, crazy trade. I don't know if I was thrilled. I didn't want Soto. I didn't want to give up what we had. I'm glad we didn't do that.
I've heard that from a lot of Cardinal fans that they didn't want Soto. Who doesn't want Juan Soto? 23-year-old kid that hits 35 homers, bats 300, and drives in 120. I mean, come on. I don't get it. Give me Juan Soto.
Give you Juan Soto.
Throw him at the 2-hole with Goldie and Arenado batting behind him. Come on. What's not to love?
Well, we needed pitching.
I
Right?
agree.
That's
I agree. But I don't know what makes Dylan Carlson untouchable, because I would have liked to know what they were asking for, because if it was only a minor leaguer and Dylan Carlson for Juan Soto, that is I can't. That is just disgusting that we didn't pull the trigger on that.
Well, you look at what San Diego gave up. San Diego gave up a good chunk of their farm system to go get them. So I have a feeling there was definitely more on the table that San Diego or the Washington Nationals were looking for than just that one outfielder. So yeah, the price tag was probably pretty high for the Cardinals, and quite frankly, David, you and everybody else who keeps telling me we didn't want Soto, probably in the long run, you're probably correct.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying I didn't want him. I say I didn't want to pay for him.
Yeah. Well,
and in 2 years, you got to pay him.
You're probably mortgaging a good chunk of your future to try and win right now.
Right.
But boy, it sure helps you win right now, though. So
yeah. I mean, you think we could have got all of it, Ryan?
Yeah, I think we could have. I think if Lars Nootbaar plays the way he's playing right now, though, that was something really unexpected, and we're solid in the outfield. So, I'm fine with us getting somewhere. I would like maybe a shortstop to look in the offseason, but I still like our chances this year.
Okay, so we made some moves at the trade deadline last year, and we went on a little run, and we looked good, right?
Right.
So this is kind of the same story again this year, or is it not? And tell me what you think the difference between this year and last year, and why we might actually have a chance this year to go forward.
Well, they're not 15 games behind the Brewers.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, that's part of it. No,
I think the offense this year, though, quite frankly, Ryan makes a great point with Nootbaar. I mean, what a great home run he had the other night in extra innings to finish off the Reds game. But a lot of these young kids, Gorman, Nootbaar, Tommy Edman. I love Tommy Edman.
He's my favorite.
Oh, my God.
He's
How do you not
favorite.
love Tommy Edman?
Love Tommy Edman.
He is the one guy when the Brewers are playing the Cardinals, I'm like, do not walk this guy. Do not let him get on base. And he gets on base 2-3 times a game, steals 2 or 3 bases. The kid is just incredible. I don't know why he doesn't have better numbers than he does, because every time he plays the Brewers, he kills us.
All right. What about the rest of the pitching staff? Dakota Hudson. I mean, man, I don't see he can't put a couple together, man. He's the one that concerns me the most of the pitching staff. Maybe I'm wrong. What do you think?
I'm not sure why we're still pitching them at this point. I think we have 5 pitchers that have proven to, that we can rely on. There's a couple different people I would like to stick in that spot. And I don't know what Dakota Hudson has that I'm not seeing, but he must, because, Dave Duncan is supposed to be an expert, and he has been an expert. So, maybe we're wrong about him. Give him a chance.
Ryan, help me out. When come playoff time, who are the top 3 guys that they're running out there? Wainwright, obviously, Mikolas. Who are the next guys that they run out for sure?
I think definitely
in the playoffs.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jordan Montgomery's our 2, and then I think Quintana's probably our 4.
Quintana, yeah, he's been a nice addition to the team.
Yeah, and then our 5th, one of those guys that we have out there that's killing it in the bullpen. We've had several guys out there that, when they've been given the chance to start, they've looked like a solid starter. But like you said, if Flaherty's back, I mean, where's Flaherty fit in there?
Right.
I don't know. I don't know. I hate to say this, but I don't know if we need him. I mean, we could use him if he's good, but you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, you could use him if he's at the top of his form, but
there's
0 chance he's going to be at the top of his form coming in this late.
Right. Do you want to take the chance that give him the few games? You know what I mean? I don't know if we have those games to spare, and maybe he wins, maybe he doesn't. But I mean, the way we're rolling, do we need him right now? I mean, that's pretty crazy for me to say.
Oh, no, I completely agree. And he's kind of shown, in my opinion, that he's not always a team-first guy.
Yeah, not at all.
And, I think that's something that, we either need he's going to be part of the team, part of the clubhouse, or, forget about he's a great talent. But if he's not producing, we got it right now. So we can move on without him.
Yeah, I mean, he bet on himself, which I don't blame anybody for ever betting on themselves, not signing a long-term deal with the Cardinals, right? He bet on himself, right? So, and he keeps getting injured. Right. So, I mean, kind of lucky for the Cardinals so far, right?
Oh, for sure. You look at all these kids that are signing these 3, 4, $100 million contracts. Let's look at Mike Trout for a second.
Oh, yeah, let's do.
I mean, Mike Trout signed a monster deal with the Angels. Anthony Rendon signed a monster deal with the Angels, and neither one of these guys now, due to injuries, will ever be the same kind of player they were.
Right.
And yet they've got years of contracts still left, and it's all guaranteed money.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's just
All right. So, I mean, we're going to go a little off subject here, but I was curious about like a player like, Mike Trout. He's obviously one of the best players in the game, or was, right?
was.
So, I mean, it's not about winning championships for him, I guess. Ryan, you got any thoughts on that? I mean, he's happy to stay where he's at, knowing that they're not going to put anything around him to win a championship. Like my thought process is once you got enough money, don't you want to win?
Well, I think he's in an impossible situation though, because if he forces his way out of if he forces his way off the Angels, you're sitting there and saying he's not a team guy, he's a himself guy. But then if he doesn't force himself on, he's never going to win. That is just a dumpster fire of an organization.
I don't understand why they would go out and bother paying these guys all that money, a few players all that money, and not giving them anything around them. It doesn't make any sense to me.
We are maybe seeing 2 once-in-a-lifetime talents careers being down the drain, because Shohei Ohtani, we might not see that again with the level of pitching and hitting. And they were willing to dish him. I don't know what they were asking for, but I thought I was more interested in him at the All-Star break, because that fixed your pitching and your hitting. But I'm sure they were asking a hefty price.
Yeah, I would like to be a fly on the wall in those meetings and hear what they have to say.
Well, I understand that the Angels. I've heard rumors out there that the Angels are actually for sale. So,
want to buy him?
I need to hit a couple of my bets today first.
Yeah, let's see if we can hit a 20-team parlay.
Yeah,
and let's. I don't think they might be not thrilled with the casher of a 20-team parlay, but then let's take it and buy the Angels and do what we're. I mean, I know we're like it's the Angels, but I mean, look at Pujols. He comes back to St. Louis after all those years of not really doing anything there. Look what he's doing it. I don't know how old he is, but
he
that's
got
a whole nother
six more home runs to 700, right?
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I'd love to see him be able to get that.
I mean, he did 7 in 9 days. Ryan, 7 in 9 days, and then, I mean,
I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist myself, so
all right,
I'm
hear
wondering
it.
what's going on.
Let's hear
You
it.
have a 200 batting average, and now, I think, against some of those teams, you got a career that, you're not going to be that guy. You're never going to be in the history books. It wouldn't hurt being the guy that throws that 700th home run. Be remembered.
That is so funny that you said that. I was talking to somebody the other night. It's like, man, if I'm an average pitcher and I know that I'm not going to be in the record books for anything, or most likely not going to be, why not give it up? Why not?
Right. It's Albert Pujols. It
Yeah.
doesn't trash you. He hit it on 450 other pitchers too. So, nothing different with you, and you'll be remembered.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what's wrong with telling the story 20 years down the line that you gave up the 700th home run to Albert Pujols, right?
Great story.
I'm throwing 50 miles an hour down the middle. Well, that might even be too slow. I don't know.
Well, they got plenty of games versus the Reds and Pirates and so forth down the stretch on the Cubs.
Yeah.
So, if there's any
And Milwaukee too.
ouch, that hurt.
Oh, I didn't want you to leave anybody out.
No, that's Milwaukee can give up a home run and a long ball with the best of them. I believe not too long ago, Pujols hit 2 of them on a Sunday against us. So, he's been known to crush the long ball against the Brewers.
Well, I will tell you, the Brewers, they got a couple nasty pitchers. I mean, you do have that. And speaking of pitchers, at the trade deadline, how'd you feel about? I mean, really? I mean, you're in first place, right? What? Tell me. I understand the other closer, but tell me, because that was the turning point for both the Cardinals and the Brewers.
I didn't have a problem with the trade itself. The Brewers are a small market team. They're not going to be having $200 million payrolls anytime in the near future. So I understand you just have to trade some of these guys. You can't keep everybody. So I get that. I was just disappointed in what they got back in the return on the return end. They got Taylor Rogers, a left-handed bullpen guy that's had a decent year, and he's not a bad guy. He's no Josh Hader, but and then they got Lament, Danielson Lament, who they ended up cutting the next day. Well, then what was the point of trading for him? Wasn't sure about that. And then they got two guys that went into the minor leagues right away that I guess time will tell whether or not they turn out to be anything. So, but no, I didn't have an overall problem with Hader. They got Devin Williams in the bullpen that, quite frankly, is having a better year than Hader at the time they traded him. And since Hader's gone to San Diego for a while there, I know he got pulled out of the closer's role because he was just getting torched and lit up every game. So
maybe the Brewers knew what they were doing by getting rid of him.
Possibly. David Stearns is a heck of a GM in Milwaukee. Same thing as St. Louis. You know, they got great general managers that run these organizations, and sometimes you got to make moves that we, the fans, don't necessarily like and want to see, but sometimes it's the best thing for the team in the long run. So
sounds like the Cardinals.
Yeah, I think
Right,
I think the Brewers and the Cardinals are very similar in that regard. The Cardinals have just done it very well for many years.
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan, your thoughts?
Yeah, to change the subject a little bit, going back to the pool hosts. One thing I was wondering is you guys have seen more. You were there for the steroid era. One thing that I find very strange is a little bit. I did.
It's true.
Yeah.
I remember seeing A-Rod hit all those home runs, and it's weird to me them erasing history because no one seems to care him passing A-Rod. I remember A-Rod being amazing, so I'm wondering, what do you guys think if Fernando Tatis, if he hits 600 home runs at this point, does it matter once you get steroids? Are you just tainted for good, you think? Or
here's what I'm gonna piggyback on.
Hall of Fame says they're hated for good.
I mean,
Barry Bonds isn't in the Hall of Fame, along with a number of other guys, Mark McGwire being another one. And will these guys ever get in the Hall of Fame? I mean, Bonds has 802, I think. I think hated forever is actually a fairly accurate.
So I was watching a show a couple weeks ago, and they were comparing Albert Pujols' career to Rodriguez, and I'm like, I don't think you can really. I guess you can compare them, but one got caught with steroids and one did not.
Right.
Never mentioned, or maybe mentioned, but never proven. I don't know. I've never heard steroids and Albert together.
No.
Right. So how can you?
That's
what my point. So how can you compare the careers? I didn't understand the segment personally because one is steroids and one is not. Now, do you care? Do I care? Knowing that probably many players were using them.
that's exactly my point. They're very big hypocrites. On some of the guys can get away with it. There is guys in the Hall of Fame that we know use steroids and we just turn a blind eye to it. And a couple of them, we can't forgive them. I just don't know, what's that about? If it's, a more modern thing or, what's going on with that.
All right.
To expand on that too, cheating back in the day used to be a laughable thing. Look at the Necro brothers.
Yeah.
Did the Necro brothers ever cheat? I mean, they used to go out on the mound and catch these guys with sandpaper, Vaseline.
How did they feel their hand?
Yeah, right. There was no feeling the hand as they come off the mound. I mean, these guys openly cheat. Everybody knew they were trying to cheat, and it wasn't just the Necro brothers. I don't mean to just throw them under the bus by themselves, but cheating used to be a thing that used to be accepted and thought of. Corking a bat, was another way that they used to do it all the time. And, people would laugh it off, and maybe they'd get a suspension here or there or a fine or, slap on the wrist. But then when it came to steroids, it's just like all of a sudden, whoa, wait a second. You guys have gone over the line and you've taken it too far. I don't know. I mean, I personally think, cheating is cheating, but in baseball, there's past history for accepting it and allowing it. So,
okay, guys, we got about 5 minutes left. I wanted your thoughts since we're gamblers, and we're talking baseball.
Right.
Got to bring up Pete Rose. Are they gonna? What's going? Are they gonna let him back? Are they gonna put him in the Hall of Fame before the man dies? I mean,
I don't see it happening, but I think it's disgusting that he bet on himself.
Yeah.
And who can you not, if you don't have faith in yourself, who's not? I really respect that move, and I think if there was any proof of him throwing games or betting on the other team, I would have a serious problem. But betting on yourself, I think that's looking at the Falcons. Their wide receiver out for a year. I'm drawing a blank right now, but
Calvin Ridley.
yeah, Calvin Ridley is beating a woman less severe than betting $1,500 on a football game you're not a part of. There's a lot of a lot of hypocrites in this.
Oh, you just named the NFL, right?
Well, I'll tell you this though, as far as Pete Rose goes, one of the greatest. I remember the tail end of Pete's career. The hair flying all over the place. He's flying into home base, running into catchers. I mean, Pete Rose is a Hall of Famer. He is the definition of baseball Hall of Fame. It's tragic that he's not in the Hall of Fame. He needs to be in the Hall of Fame. And like Ryan said, he bet on a few games as a manager
Maybe
of the
more than
Cincinnati
a
Reds,
few.
and he's betting on himself. He's betting on the teams to win.
Maybe more than a few. I'd like to know the number, what in your mind of what few is. I'm just curious. We don't know exactly, but maybe a few thousand.
But as a baseball player,
Yeah.
he was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think he's still the all-time leader in hits, is he not? So I think he's still that, and he definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
All right, Ryan, I want to. We're all gamblers here. We like to get in action. Are you a single player, parlay player, or what are you looking to get the most value out of your wagers?
Oh, I'm a big parlay guy. That's not what the experts are going to tell you, but on the college, I love college football. The teams that are supposed to win usually win, and the line, like he said, you don't know who's going to play at the end of the game. I like some longer parlays with favorites. I bet a little bit opposite of him. I'm not saying, I've had a lot of success that way, and I'll put together some long parlays. Some might tell you go against it, but nothing feels better than smacking a 10-team parlay.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Well, we hit a 20-team one week and buy the Angels.
Oh, is that right?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, right. I'm a little slow sometimes.
That's all right, Mike.
It's early in the morning still for me.
I understand. I got you up. I probably should have scheduled you guys the second hour. Yeah. I wasn't really thinking about it. We do go 2 hours here. I mean, I don't have a problem getting up early, but when I was talking to you guys, I thought maybe they should have been the 10 o'clock hour.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Are you a flat better? You like parlays? What are we looking at?
No, I think Ryan already knew it before he even said it. I'm not a big parlay guy.
Right.
So not to say I won't put out a parlay from time to time, because I will. But yeah, just give me the straight games. I think I've already pretty much said it. I like the dogs. I like some money line games. I'd rather bet a money line at plus 120, 130 versus having to get two favorites to win, just to give me that 130. So give me one dog, and that's a 3.5 point dog, and let's see if we can ride that guy into the finish line and cash that ticket.
All right, we are live here at DraftKings at Casino Queen. Any information on the sports book and booking I tell you what, guys, before I let you go, this place is amazing. Could you imagine anything like this being in the St. Louis area? You had to go to Vegas to have anything like this, and I know I bring it up, every time I'm here, but this is 20 minutes from my house, and I never thought St. Louis that we would have. This place is beautiful. Ryan?
I'd love to make an open plea right now to the Missouri legislation. Please, let's get some sports betting legalized in Missouri. I drive 40 minutes just to come over here, but I'll do it willingly,
right?
Just to get my bets in. But boy, if we could get something over in Missouri, come on, let's get her done. Let's get that legislation passed.
Ryan?
Yeah, if you haven't driven over yet, I'll drive an hour here to sit here because it's beautiful in there. It's almost a movie screen in there, and you can't beat the atmosphere in there.
Oh, it's fantastic. And, they've just redesigned some of the restaurants in here, too, that look fantastic. Place to watch a Sunday full of NFL football games. So I'm planning on coming in here this year to watch some football games in some of these restaurants.
All right, guys. I want to thank you both for coming on, man. This was a bunch of fun.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
I hope you guys come back. We got Ryan Kinder and Mike Yu. We got to take a quick break. When we come back, Sportsbook manager Mike Hasty is going to join us for about 10 minutes and let us know what's going on this weekend. We'll be right back.
Domination. I've got a golden ticket.
That's a winner!
Welcome back to the Winning Ticket. My name is David Scharf, and sitting directly to my right is Mike Hasty. Mike, you are the manager of the sportsbook here at DraftKings at Casino Queen. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Last week we were excited about week 0. It's week 1. Man, I see it's getting busier.
Yeah, we got some exciting matchups today, and looking forward to all the games throughout the day.
Yeah. So let's get into it. What do you like?
So, I mean, obviously the two big ones, you got Oregon and Georgia at 2:30. You got Georgia minus 16. You know, there's a lot of unknowns with this game. You got a new head coach in Georgia. You got a new quarterback in Bo Nix. Georgia lost a lot of players from last year in the draft, so it'll be exciting to see, you know, how week 1 goes.
All right. Sorry, we had a little bit of a technical difficulty. Give me just 1 second. Can you get our picture back up, my man? We got it. We're good to go. All right. What do you got next up?
So next up, you got Notre Dame and Ohio State, and also a big spread. You got Ohio State minus 16. My opinion, I think Ohio State might be a national title favorite. You got C.J. Stroud, which is, you know, probably going to be a Heisman favorite. You know, Notre Dame, again, they have a new head coach. They have a lot of unknowns going into this game, and Notre Dame tends to not show up in these big type games.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'm overwhelmed with how many games compared to last week. Right?
Right.
It's hard to get back in the flow of how many games we got today. We got a game tomorrow. We got a game Monday. And have you looked at the game on Monday yet with Clemson?
I was just going to talk to you about Clemson. You know, last week we talked about, you know, looking for value in some of these future bets. How about you know, Clemson's quarterback for Heisman? He's 35-1.
35-1.
Yeah,
That's
I'm not
what
even gonna attempt to say his last name, but his first name is DJ. And you know, he took over a couple seasons ago when Trevor Lawrence got hurt, and he did well. Clemson, you know, I think they're going to bounce back this season, and if they do, you know, DJ will be a big part of that turnaround.
All right. Are you looking at any college over under wins for the year? I know we talked about Mizzou Did we talk about Mizzou last week? Over under 5.5 wins. They're going to have to steal a couple wins. I know I talked it with Mike and Ryan earlier about it. Your thoughts at 5.5? They're going to have to steal a couple wins to get to that over. They're touting the over. What do you think?
I mean, looking at their schedule, it looks pretty tough to me. I would probably tend to go with the under on that one. I think they go to Northwestern. I don't see many wins. I think they probably get a win against Vanderbilt. But I mean, they play Arkansas. I think they play at Florida. So it's going to be a tough road to hoe for Mizzou. They got a new quarterback. We'll see how he plays out. But in the SEC, it's going to be a dogfight every week.
All right, looking a little bit to the NFL, man. I know you're busy now. Just wait till next weekend hits and the floodgates open for all of it, right?
Right.
Thursday night, I know you expect to be busy here. Rams are a home dog. They're getting 2.5 points at home. What do you like?
I mean, I really like the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. They got a great defense. They're the favorite to win the Super Bowl right now. I think they're plus 450.
Yeah.
The Rams, they lost a couple key defensive guys. They don't have Von Miller anymore. They don't have Odell Beckham. So, I mean, I kind of like the Bills in that one.
Yeah. Okay. Both my other guys were touting the Rams, so I love to hear the other side of it. I'll tell you what, the Rams, Stafford, what a great move they made last year. It's hard for me to say, being from St. Louis, as much as I do not like the Rams personally anymore. But I was happy to see Stafford go from a team he did so many years in Detroit, and Jared Goff finding out how tough it is. Hard Knocks, I don't think is going to get Detroit anywhere this year, but Stafford winning a Super Bowl, they brought back a lot of their players this year, the Rams. What are your thoughts? I mean, I know you like in this game, you like Buffalo. What do you think the Rams' chance of repeat?
I think, long term, I think the Rams will be fine. I think they're the favorite in their division. You got Arizona with Kyler Murray. I think that's probably their biggest rival in that division. You don't know what you're going to get with Trey Lance and the 49ers, but I think they have a very good chance of getting in the playoffs and making a deep run again.
Yeah, looking at Seattle, man, they're not looking very good, and their over under is 5.5. Also, I know I've been talking a lot about it. Teams, their over under is 5.5. It doesn't seem like a lot to get to, but I don't see them getting over 5.5 wins this year.
No, I mean, Geno Smith is their starter right now, but I think at some point Drew Lock is probably going to take over the reins at quarterback. That team overall is they might rival one of the worst teams in football. You got Atlanta will probably have something to say about that too, but I think Seattle's going to have a rough time this season.
Okay, let's go a little Chicago Bears. I know we talked about them last weekend. Kind of local. There are a lot of people have migrated to the Green Bay Packers, the Bears, and Kansas City since the Rams left. Talked to a Bears expert and really worried about Justin Fields kind of running for his life with the offensive line, the problems with the Bears. Your thoughts on the Bears?
Well, I think the Bears are going to have a tough time as well. I mean, you got the Packers obviously own the Bears.
Yeah.
The good thing with Justin Fields, though, is if they do have a suspect offensive line, he can evade the pocket. He's a mobile guy. But I mean, they're still going to have a tough go of it. I mean, who's he going to throw to? I don't even know.
Right. Yeah, I don't either. Like I said, he's not going to have time to throw.
No.
That's what we're looking at. Real quick before we talk about your venue here, we got a few minutes left. Man, let's talk a little Kansas City. How they looking? What do you think? I mean, Tyreek Hill's gone, and it's such a key piece, even as a distraction, right? So, what do you think?
I mean, we touched on this a little bit last week.
Right.
It's in my recent memory, it might be the hardest division in football.
Right.
You got the Raiders. They're a hot pick this year. You got Justin Herbert and the Chargers. They're going to be tough. Russell Wilson is now with the Broncos, so he obviously makes them better. But Kansas City, they're going to have some things to work out. Travis Kelce, might not have as many open spaces in the middle without Tyreek. he would stretch that defense and it'd leave the middle kind of wide open for Kelsey. So it'll be interesting to see how many catches he can get this year. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, thus far, he's been kind of injury prone. Yeah. So where do they go if he gets injured again? But I mean, I think they're going to make the playoffs, but it's going to be a tough season for them getting through that division.
All right, getting ready for everything this is week 1. Now we got the NFL added in Thursday night next weekend. What a beautiful venue. I know we talked about it last week, but I wanted to let everybody know, how can they reserve a seat in here for a game?
So if they go on our website at DraftKings at CasinoQueen.com, there is a link for Open Table, which is an app you can also download on your phone. And you can book in groups of 4, and it's $200 food and beverage minimum. And that's for a 4-hour block. So if you want to watch the 11 o'clock games, you can do that. If you want to stay longer, you just reserve that second block afterwards. But you could stay in our VIP area or our lounge seating. The stadium seating is also available on a first come, first served basis. So if you plan on not making a reservation, plan on getting here early. That way you can, find a seat in front of a TV where you can, watch the game that you're looking for.
So you do have a little first come, first serve.
That's correct.
Yeah, right on. And once you're sitting there, they're probably not moving.
Yeah, I would say if you find a seat, don't get up.
You got to get up to make a wager, Mike.
Yeah, you can do it on your phone too, or you can create another thing you could do. You could create it on your phone with our Build the Bet app. You can get it all set up and go up to the kiosk, scan all your bets that you created, and print your tickets, and then camp out of that table that you've picked out.
Yeah, we're going to have to take a quick break in just a minute. One more time, Mike Hasty, sportsbook manager here at DraftKings at Casino Queen. I appreciate you taking the time to come on with us, Mike. You coming on with us maybe next week or a week after. Let us know how everything's going.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Mike Hasty, DraftKings at Casino Queen, sportsbook manager. This is David Scharf. We got to take a quick break. When we come back, our golf expert, Mike Whistler, is going to join us. We'll be right back.
Domination. I've got a golden ticket.
That's a winner!
Live at DraftKings at Casino Queen. My name is David Scharf. This is the winning ticket. Last week we had a little bit of technical difficulties with our golf expert, Mike Whistler. Yesterday I had a chance to speak with him, and I can't wait for you guys to hear what he has to say about little golf handicapping. So here we go. Hey everyone, David Scharf here with the Winning Ticket. I'm here with my man, Mike Whistler, our golf expert. Mike, we tried to get a hold of you last week, a little technical difficulties, but we got you on now. How's it going?
I'm good. I'm stoked. Ready to get on.
All right, my man. Last time we had you on, we went through a lot of new things. I learned so much about golf handicapping. Since then, how you been doing? And let's talk about a little of some of your scores that you made.
So yeah, since then I've hit a few of them. I picked a lot of tournament matchups and a lot of round matchups that I've hit. But as far as my just outright winners, so I hit Zalatoris for the FedEx St. Jude. He was at plus 2,800. He came through for me. That was his first tournament win, so it was pretty exciting to hit him. I hit Xander Schauffele at the Genesis. He was plus 1,800, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I hit Rahm. Rahm was kind of a favorite at the Mexico Open. He was plus 1,000. But when you're looking at minus 110s and minus 120s, plus 1,000 is really good.
Yeah, Mike. See, that's what I find so fascinating about when you came on the first time is talking about betting golf. I always know what's out there. Like I know you can bet on anything, but the work that goes into picking they sound like huge long shots and so much value for your money, and the scores that you made are absolutely unbelievable. So any others that we missed?
Yeah, I had some of the longer ones. I had Sam Burns at the Valspar. He was plus 2,800, which is middle. I had Tom Hoagie at the AT&T Pebble Beach. He was plus 6,000.
Whoa, 60 to 1.
Yeah, one of my big ones that I actually put a pretty big amount on was another guy's first-time winner who actually, unfortunately, jumped off to the live. But it was Taylor Gooch at the RSM Classic. He was plus 4,200. That was one of the biggest wagers I've ever made on golf. So that was a pretty nice score that kind of got me going.
Yeah, for some of those that don't know, plus 4,200, that's 42 to 1. I mean, for every dollar you bet, you're getting $1 or getting 42 back. That's just unbelievable. And what I'm finding out, I never was a golf bettor. And since we've connected, and I know we've known each other for a long time, but I had no idea that the odds that you can get on these golfers are some of these are could be life-changing scores.
Yeah, it is crazy. It's a niche market. I mean, that's kind of why they're so high. And another thing is really anybody can win a golf tournament. Really, I mean, you're gonna lose a lot more times than you win, but when you win, you're scoring. And for your standard sports bettor, I mean, they're probably losing a lot anyway. So you're gonna score. Hit a score.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you're profitable. So one of the parts of how do we get there, right? So let's not in giving out all your secrets, but let's go into what's your process like?
So to break it down kind of short, when I first started sports betting, I was doing the basketball and the football and stuff, and you kind of linger towards the heavy favorites, the Alabamas of football, and the Ohio States of football, and Kentucky of basketball. And everybody starts out like right there, and they seem to like the favorites because they're on TV more and this and that. Well, I've taken this golf and went to more of a statistics standpoint of it. So I go to the PGAtour.com, and they have several tabs that will lead you to different stats, like shorts gained on approach, their driving distance, their driving accuracy, their putting on several different greens, their around the green play. So you take a combined of all them things together, and you take a guy that's been playing well, and I call it as an analyst, you would call it as guys who are in form. I mean, so there's golfers that are really, 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 really good, but they might not be playing that good. So you want to catch the guys that's hot and having these good numbers, and they're going to win eventually. They're going to win.
Yeah, I tell you what, just from the basic, when I'm not gonna say basic, when you say tabs and take you there, for somebody like me who wants to, who's a beginner, to pick golf, and let's say I don't always have your information, what are some of the beginning steps I can take? Like, what tabs are you talking about, and what stats? Maybe just a few, just to get started on my own golf handicapping.
So when I first very got started, and one of the things I still do, but it's kind of easy, is to go look at a tournament. So let's say the Fortinet Championship is the next tournament for the PGA Tour. It's not till September 15th, but so they don't have the field and they don't have all the information on it right now. But as a handicapper in golf, in a few days, when I get time, I'm going to look at the past years that this tournament was played and who played in it, and take a handful of them guys and say, these guys are doing good at this course. So I already have a little stepping stone on when I go to the PGA Tour stats page on what I'm going to look at. Now these guys might not be in the field. There could be some different guys in the field. So you can't just go off this and say, I'm picking these couple guys. So you have to match it up. So basically, you just go to PGA Tour stats, and when you go there, it would say putting, driving, accuracy. It's laid out right there for you, and you just click on it, and there'll be a drop tab like, driving accuracy, driving distance, so forth and so forth. You just have to look at all that and just crunch the numbers. I mean, it's hard to just give it all away. I've been doing it for a very long time. It's hard to, on an interview.
Yeah, I'm just talking basic. I don't want all your secrets. I mean,
I can't do them all. I have to kill you, David.
I do absolutely, and I'm very fortunate to have access to you and your information, which is it's unbelievable. But you had talked about last time, as part of your process, is using DraftKings Fantasy.
Yeah, so the more the better, I mean, the more legwork you put in, the better results you're going to get. I mean, some guys want to sit around and say, well, I'm going to bet Rory McIlroy because he's number one in the world, blah, 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 blah. Well, I mean, do all the data you can do. So with the DraftKings and the FanDuel Fantasy is when you go to their sites and you click on them, they have salaries, and so sometimes, let's say a middle of the road guy like Harold Varner or somebody like that could be an $8,000 salary one time, and the next week be a $9,800 salary.
Right.
Now that would give you a roundabout to go look. Is it because the field's weak, or is the course not fit him a little better? You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
It's just looking at every standpoint.
Well, I tell you what, great insight, especially for somebody like me who's a beginner and can absolutely do these things myself, right? I mean, I know there's a lot more to it, but just as a beginner in starting to bet golf, these are great tools and a great start. Let's get into the FedEx Cup Championship, and let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay. Yeah. So the FedEx Cup Championship is there's three tournaments to it, but the very last one is the Tour Championship. So basically, it's what they've been playing for all year. Some people think these guys are just playing tournaments, and some guys sit out and some guys don't. Well, almost every tournament you get FedEx Cup points. When you make it, and you make the cut or better, you get FedEx Cup points. So if you win it, depending on the tournament and how big it is, you usually get 300 to 500 FedEx Cup points. So at the end of the year, there's this Tour Championship. A first place for that is $18 million.
Oh my goodness!
That's not the prize pool. That is first place.
What? That's first place?
Just first place. It's $18 million. Second place got $6.5 million. Third place got $5 million. Fourth place got $4 million. And the very last spot, there's only 30 guys that qualify for it. The very last spot is $500K.
Wow. So you're guaranteed 500K for showing up.
500K. Yep.
Wow.
Just for showing up, no matter how good they shoot.
So let's talk about. I guess maybe I'm not understanding correctly. The strokes carry over.
So yeah, on that Tour Championship, the FedEx Cup Tour Championship, the very last tournament. So whoever has the most FedEx Cup points is what I was explaining earlier. How when you play tournaments throughout the year, when you place or win, you get a certain amount of FedEx Cup points. And whoever has the most at the end of the year for this Tour Championship will start out with a handicap already. I wouldn't say handicap because they're getting the strokes.
Right.
So they're getting strokes before the tournament starts. So Scotty Scheffler was the overall FedEx Cup points leader. I don't know exactly how many he had off the top of my head, but so he started this tournament at -10. So that's what he got when they started.
Wow.
So it wasn't like you're laying like -10 for a football game. He actually started with -10 as his strokes.
Wow.
And then Patrick Cantlay came in second place, so he started at -8. And my man Will Zalatoris, which just won me a nice chunk of money, started at -7, but he withdrew. I'm not sure how he didn't even withdraw. Actually, I'm sorry. He didn't play. He was a DNP. He had back issues, I believe, but I'm pretty sure he still got his 500K. I would have liked to seen him play. But Alexander Schauffele started at -6. Sam Burns was -5. Cam Smith was -4. And we'll stop right here at Rory McIlroy, who was -4.
Right.
And if you get the picture, it just keeps going down to the 30 guys. Rory McIlroy, I had a small bet on him, and he shipped this tournament.
And he started off 6 strokes behind
the
best golfer in the world.
Best golfer in the world, yeah. And I actually got him on the last day. He was still six or 4 strokes behind on the last day. Scotty Scheffler was leading the tournament. He was carrying the lead. And Rory McIlroy ended up winning it. And I got him at plus 3,000.
Wow.
And I didn't bet him until the last day. So you can, in these golf tournaments, you can bet after they finish or even live. You can still bet these guys too. So that's another thing we'll have to get into when we got more time is, the different ways of betting.
Yeah. Real quick, I want to move on to the Live Tour and kind of like, can you explain just the differences? And we're not going to get too deep into it, but just the differences between and maybe why some of these players are making their move over to the new tour.
So, well, I mean, the PGA Tour is the PGA Tour. It's the prestigious golf there is. I mean, and they've had no competition. They got like the European Tour and the Corn Ferry Tour, which the Corn Ferry Tour is like a feeder to the PGA Tour.
Okay.
If they do super good or win a X amount of tournaments and points, that they get a PGA Tour card. Well, this Live Golf Tour is a new branch. They're their own identity. It's like the XFL was to the NFL. They're doing their own thing. And, a lot of these PGA Tour guys are looking to go, and a lot of them have went. From the beginning, like when it first started going on, Dustin Johnson hopped over there, Bryson DeChambeau, Louis Oosthuizen, Patrick Reed, Brooks Koepka, Sergio Garcia, Phil Mickelson. I mean, these guys they're not all-star PGA Tour players, but I mean, Brooks Koepka was very, very known in the golf world and by people that don't even know golf because he won at the Belle Reve, the Players Championship at the Belle Reve here in St. Louis. And I went to that, and that was pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome.
Pretty much. So the guys who are running this Live Golf Tour are just giving these guys a ridiculous amount of money, and it's hard to pass up. I know a lot of people say, well, these guys are, in the PGA Tour, they're making millions of dollars, they're tarnishing their career. Well, let's just say, Dave, somebody came up to one of us and say, hey, I'm gonna quadruple your money, and you don't have to work as hard.
Right. I'm gonna get guaranteed money, right?
Guaranteed money. You're only gonna be playing 3 days a week now instead of 4. I mean, like Dustin Johnson, they offered him $100 million.
Yep. Yeah.
He was in the PGA Tour for 12 to 14 years, and his net worth was $42 million. That's through all that grinding and playing. They gave him $100 million just to come join.
Now, Dwight, did they give him $100 million to come join, or is a 5-year contract? I thought it was a 5-year contract, but I'm not 100% sure. I was looking into it a little bit, but they did guarantee him $100 million either way. Either way, $100 million.
To be honest with you, Dave, I'll have to look that up. I was really not interested in the Live, considering who it's backed by and everything. But the Live's a real thing, and people need to look out for it. It's becoming a real thing. After this tour championship was over, a handful of guys were in it, the tour championship, so they didn't want to leave already. But there's a few big names who just left now that the PGA Tour season is over. Cameron Tringali, Joaquin Niemann, Harold Varner, Mark Leishman, and then one of the most liked guys in the PGA Tour and one of the most successful guys in the PGA Tour, Cameron Smith, just announced that he left.
So I have to ask you a question. Is the PGA going to allow these players that are on the Live Tour to play in PGA tournaments, or is it you pick one or the other?
So yeah, so the PGA Tour is really distraught right now. They're going at these guys, and they're telling them they can't play at all, and this and that, and so I believe as of right now they can't play in any PGA Tour event.
Wow.
They're trying to make it where they can play in majors that they qualified or they won. So like if a guy wins a major, you're accepted back for the rest of your life until you retire. Well, the PGA Tour trying to tell them they can't play. They saying, well, they should play because they earned it. So there's a big dispute with that, lawyers and.
It sounds. I tell you what, the new tour, like you said, the PGA Tour has not had any competition. This is the first competition that I'm aware of, and
100%,
I think
yeah.
So, real quick before we let you go, we got a few minutes left. What's coming up next for not only the tour and golf, but what's up next for Mike Whistler? What's going on with him?
Well, I'm just keep grinding, man. Hopefully I can get to the point to where I could just do this for a living, It's been a fun ride. It's been a roller coaster, but it's been a lot better than worse. And I've been sports betting for a long time, and it seems like I kind of found a niche market that I could rip it up, and I'm just enjoying it and living life to the fullest right now.
That's fantastic. And I know you're going to get there because I know this has been a really good year for you. We're not giving out any dollar amounts, but I know this has been a great year for you. And you're on top of your game, that's for sure. And I feel so lucky to have you come on here and explain how everything happens, how a little bit about your process and how we can learn ourselves. So that's part of what I like to do here on my show is give a little information on how we can become our own handicappers and not rely on somebody else. So a little bit what's going on in golf. We got a little delay before a couple weeks in between before our next tournament because Mike, you've got me all excited. I'm ready to get in action. When a couple weeks away. And when do you think this information will come out where I can and the field will come out so I can start doing my handicapping?
Yeah, so right now I think they're off 2 weeks. So the Fortinet Championship is going to start up September 15th. They do not have a field on that. I'm not 100% sure when it's going to come out. These guys are probably, some of them are deciding if they're, going to take in a little extra vacation or what it is. That's why it's not a big tournament. Guys are just going to get the field coming back. There's some guys that left to the Live. So I'm sure they'll get the field probably by next week or so. And then that should be a good tournament. And then what I'm looking forward to, we got coming up after that is the President's Cup, the 20th through the 25th, which is going to be pretty cool. It's a match play event. So pretty much it's the United States versus the world, basically, is what it is. And the United States is a $500 favorite. So you have that 500 to 100. That kind of stinks, but you can find matchups and stuff within it that you'll be able to get, So
does that end the golf season for a while?
The golf season's over.
It is over.
The golf season the tour championship was it.
And when does it start up back again after the first of the year? Is that what we're looking at?
The Fortinet Championship. So it's September 15th. It restarts. Yeah, that's going to start. That's going to kick off the new season.
Oh, so it's only a 2-week break.
Yeah, only a 2-week break. Yeah,
So
that's the awesome thing about being a sports bettor in golf is it's pretty much nonstop. They play in Florida and Vegas and stuff where that the weather's not really an issue, unlike St. Louis, where you don't know if it's going to start pouring out of nowhere or snow out of nowhere.
All right. Hey, we're going to have to let you go, but I know that you follow a little football. If you care to give out any team, maybe like a future for Super Bowl, is there any team that you're looking at that has any kind of decent odds? I mean, you don't have to get too crazy, but give me something if you want for a Super Bowl future bet.
I haven't done much looking into the Super Bowl, I'll be honest with you, but I do have a decent pick that I put my hard-earned cash on. It's a college football. It's a college football bet. It's a favorite, but I believe they're going to steamroll people. I'm going to be betting them the first half lines, and I put a decent amount on them to win it all, and that's the Alabama Crimson Tide.
I love it. I love it. I don't know if our boy Clemson John's going to like that pick because he's coming on. He's coming on.
Sorry, Clemson John, but I mean, I just got to go where the money's at.
You absolutely right. Hey, Mike, thanks for spending the time with us, man. I want to check in with you in maybe a few weeks, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Thanks for coming on, Mike. Really appreciate it.
Take care. Have fun, guys.
All the way from Anchorage, Alaska, my man Clemson John just got off a cruise ship. John, how was your trip?
Oh, we had the Clemson flag flying high in Anchorage, Alaska. So we had it all the way from Vancouver, Canada, all the way to Anchorage, Alaska tonight. I'm catching a midnight flight, and I'll be ready for tomorrow when that plane lands.
This is unbelievable. John's waiting for his flight home. We're in the middle of the night before our show on Saturday, but we got to get John's picks in before he gets on an airplane to head on home, and hopefully we'll have him back live real soon. So let's get right into it. John, we're going to start off with Ohio State and Notre Dame. The over-under's 59. What do you got?
Well, Notre Dame, to have a chance, is going to have to keep this game very slow and slow down Ohio State to try to keep this for the Irish to have any prayers. They're going to have to make this a slow game, so which I think they will in the first half. I don't think they're going to score a lot either. I really like the under in this spot. I see it kind of Ohio State probably pulling away late, scoring in the 31 to 35 range, and Notre Dame sitting there at about 17. So I'm comfortable with the under on this. Let's go under 59 on the big college game day, Ohio State Notre Dame game of the week.
Week 1, week 0 was great, but week 1's even better. It's already started off wonderful. We're going to get right into the next game. I know you like Rutgers, Boston College -7. What do you like?
Yeah, BC's always tough at home. It doesn't matter if they finish the year 5-7 or 8-4. Boston College is always a tough little gritty team at home, and Rutgers just doesn't present much of a challenge. So I expect Boston College to win this by 2 touchdowns, really. I take this line up to 13, 14 points, but it's kind of a gift at 7. So we'll take BC -7 for sure at home because, Boston College is always tough at home. You guys remember a running back they used to have named A.J. Dillon? He's with the Green Bay Packers now, very solid running back, but they always find good running backs and a great offensive line and, great team at home. So BC -7 is a gift against Rutgers.
All right, next up, we got Appalachian State, North Carolina. This is a tight spread. Appalachian State's -1.5. What are you going with?
Yeah, North Carolina had a letdown last year against Virginia Tech, and that was on the road at Va-Tech against a Va-Tech team that was not very good. So North Carolina is going on the road again, and they're going against a team that's very good at home at Appalachian State. And I feel another letdown spot here. So we're going with the Mountaineers and Appalachian State to kind of take care of business at home against North Carolina. Mac Brown is a strong coach, but I really think Mac Brown's at the end of his career. His best years are behind him. And, North Carolina is going to be looking for a new coach here in about a year or two. So I think App State's going to take care of business at home.
All right. We've got North Carolina State, East Carolina, North Carolina minus 12.5. What are you going with?
Yeah, everybody's jumping on that NC State bandwagon this year after, upsetting Clemson last year and, having a strong year, bringing everybody back. They're bringing a good quarterback back, a great core of linebackers back for NC State. I don't know why this game isn't 16 or 17, NC State minus 16 or minus 17. It feels like a gift at 12.5 because they're going on the road to Greenville, North Carolina, and East Carolina. So NC State should take care of business here. If NC State has any dreams of being a top 10, top 15 team, challenging Clemson in the ACC, then they need to take care of business against teams like East Carolina. This East Carolina team's not very good at all. They're going to finish at the bottom of their conference, and NC State's minus 12.5. So this is a great line. NC State's just a far better team. I'd take it up to 17 and feel confident at 17. So 12.5, that's a present. So we'll take NC State minus 12.5 for sure.
So you think the line makers got it wrong here?
Absolutely. NC State's a far better team than East Carolina. East Carolina's going to finish at the bottom of their conference, but they're putting too much of an advantage to East Carolina because they're at home. They think home field advantage is going to sway the line, 4 or 5 points when it doesn't. When NC State's going to jump on them early and jump on them often. So I wouldn't be surprised the NC State to blow them out by 3 or 4 touchdowns, but I'd take it up to 17 comfortably. So 12.5 is a gift for sure.
Yeah, it sounds like you really like this game. So
absolutely.
Next up we got Houston against University of Texas San Antonio. Houston minus 4.
Yeah, I expect Houston to win this conference this year. Cincinnati lost a lot of players to the draft and the graduate. So a lot of players graduated. So I don't think Cincinnati's going to win that conference this year. I think Houston's the best team in that conference, and they're going to take care of business against UTSA. I don't know why this game is minus 4. Houston should be favored by 10 points in this game. So we're going to take Houston minus 4 for sure. I don't know, I guess because it's, they're going to UTSA to play, but that's not going to make much of a difference at all. UTSA is a far smaller school, and Houston is going to win that conference this year. So they're going to pound UTSA on the road for sure.
Before we get into the next game, part of the handicapping process is, you make your own lines, and you can see the big difference is what you feel the line should be in the line that they're offering at the book. And that's when you need to pounce and take advantage of these situations as a handicapper yourself. Do you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I always think before I look at the games, I always say, before I look at the lines, rather, I'll look at a game like East Carolina and NC State that I just covered, and I'll say NC State minus 17. That's what that line should be. And if it's not, if it's 12.5, I consider that a gift for sure. If it's 4 or 5 points below what I'd take it, yeah, NC State minus 12.5 when I think it should be at 17. So yeah, I think I say this is what the line should be, and then I look at what it is, and then I'll make my picks based off that.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. All right, UTEP, Oklahoma. Oklahoma's 30.5-point favorites. Who do you like here?
Yeah, Clemson lost their defensive coordinator. Brent Venables went back to Oklahoma. It's his first game back in Oklahoma. I just think they're going to get off to a slow start offensively. Venables is going to have that defense ready to go. It doesn't matter how much talent he's got on that defense.
Yeah.
Oklahoma's finally going to play some defense, which they hadn't played defense in a decade. So, Venables is going to right that ship and get them playing defense strong. But the offense is going to be a question mark. And, they're going to blow this UTEP team out probably. But I don't know if they're going to be able to cover 33 points. 33 points that's a lot of points to cover in Brent Venables' defensive-minded scheme that is going to lay 33 points in their first game. So I'm going to take the points in this one. I would take UTEP.
You 30.5.
Yeah, I'd take UTEP plus 33 all day in this one for sure.
Okay, UTEP's 30.5. Just to let you know.
30.5.
30.5. You're still comfortable.
30.5. Okay, I had it 33.5. That's probably what I would have taken it at 33.5, but 30.5 is still comfortable for sure. So
Okay.
I don't know if Oklahoma's going to, be able to beat them by more than 3 to 4 touchdowns. So yeah, UTEP plus 30.5 is still a solid line for sure.
John, I got to thank you for doing this. We love having you on every week. You look exhausted, my friend. Before we get into
that, guys, I've been on a cruise ship for 6 days. That boat's been going back and forth. But hey, we made it. We're back, and we're ready for tomorrow for sure. I've been ready for tomorrow for 6 months.
I know you. So I mean, I love how look how fired up you are. As tired as you are, waiting for your flight home overnight. USC. Rice, USC minus 33.5. I know you like this game, so let us know what you got.
Yeah, Lincoln Riley's going to score some points in USC now. USC finally found a coach in Lincoln Riley that would have some consistency offensively, I believe. He took the quarterback from Oklahoma. Excuse me. Took the quarterback from Oklahoma with him when he went from Oklahoma to USC. So, Lincoln Riley being their new coach is going to throw up a lot of points against Rice. I don't even know if Rice is a real college football team. That's more of a starch, but, hey, we'll take minus 33.5. I think USC is going to beat them by 45. So, we'll take USC minus 33.5 all day.
All right. Close spread here, Coastal Carolina and Army. Coastal Carolina minus 2.
Grayson McCall coming back for another year when he could have went to the draft for Coastal Carolina. Coastal had a great year last year. Grayson McCall coming back, and Army's not going to slow him down. I think Coastal's going to score 4 touchdowns. So they're going to cover for sure on this. I'm very confident about Coastal covering against Army for sure.
All right. Last one I got right here. Actually, we got a couple more. Florida State, LSU. That's on Sunday.
That's a Sunday night game. The only game of the day for Sunday.
And we got LSU minus 3.
Yeah. This LSU should be minus 7.5 in this game. The Florida State's they haven't proven anything yet. And I don't know why they're only +3 against a team of LSU's caliber. They're bringing in a new coach in Brian Kelly. LSU is. That's probably why. It's on a neutral field as well, I believe. But we'll take LSU minus 3. That's kind of a gift. Florida State's they got a lot of problems. I don't know if Mike Norvell is going to be the coach next year. I think Deion Sanders should be that coach in Florida State anyway, but he'll probably get there eventually if he wants the job. But Florida State had the #1 recruit in the country in Travis Hunter, and it was signed, sealed, and delivered. The kid was a Florida State commit all the way for a solid 12 months. He was a Florida State commit, and then he upset the Seminole Nation on signing day. He picks out the Jackson State hat and goes with Deion Sanders to the middle of Mississippi. So if Deion can steal Travis Hunter, the #1 recruit in the whole country, from Tallahassee, Florida, and bring him in the middle of Mississippi to play, then Deion's going to be a coach at a, Division I school if he wants it,
All right, so we've got LSU minus 3. That's what we're taking. Now we got a little bit. We got a little bit of time left before you got to catch your flight. We got about 7-8 minutes. Let's talk about Monday. I know you're really looking forward to Monday night. Clemson Tigers in action, first game of the year. Let's talk about the game, your pick, obviously with your heart, but let's go over your analysis of the game first and what you're looking most of to see it through the season with your Clemson Tigers.
Yeah, big thing is that offensive line. Everybody talks about DJ in the quarterback position, losing Trevor Lawrence, going to DJ Uiagalelei, but DJ had his problems last year. For sure. I mean, it was frustrating watching him, but that offensive line was awful. Receivers were hurt last year. He had one solid receiver in Bo Collins last year. Everybody else was hurt. The offensive line was banged up. They were awful even when they were healthy. So, that's the main thing. If we fix this offensive line, I don't think DJ's as much of a problem as everybody thinks he is, but he's got a kid behind him that if DJ starts to struggle, if this Georgia Tech game is 13-7 at the half, Clemson's got a 6-point lead going into the half. DJ's like 4 for 9 with a 1 interception and is not doing anything offensively, then this kid behind him, one of the number 1 quarterbacks in the country, DJ's going to be on a short leash because this kid will take his job in a heartbeat. So, I think DJ lost 30 pounds coming into the offseason. He's between, January and now, he's lost 30-something pounds. He went from 260 to 230. So he's going to be more mobile. His knee's healthy. He had surgery. His knee's going to be healthy. So I think if we can fix our offensive line, I think we're going to be fine. I think DJ's going to be fine. The spread is 22.5. That's a big number against Georgia Tech in the Georgia Dome.
Yeah.
So I just don't know if we can cover 22.5. We couldn't cover 22.5 against anybody last year.
Right.
It didn't matter who it was.
Right.
So I'm anxious to see the defense as well. They got a young coordinator in there that's been with the program for several years in Wes Goodwin. So he was actually in New England with the Patriots and Bill Belichick for a while. But he made his way back down to Clemson, and he's a young guy. Got the job. Dabo promoted him to defensive coordinator when Venables left to take the Oklahoma job. So I think our defense is going to be fine. We got 5 defensive linemen that I think are going to play in the NFL. So if you got 5 NFL defensive linemen, that's not going to be your problem. We have a great group of linebackers, and our secondary in the defense is going to be great. Safeties and DBs are going to be great as well. I don't think Georgia Tech is going to score more than 13 points. It'd shock me if Georgia Tech gets 2 touchdowns Monday night. It would shock me. So the thing is, Clemson's got to put up some points, man. If we can put up some points and we can win this game, 41-13, something like that, then we can move on. And we got 2 cupcakes in week 2 and week 3, and then we go on the road to Wake Forest, and then we play the NC State Wolfpack on the first week of October. That's the big game there. NC State's been running their mouth for 12 months now. The media thinks they're going to win the ACC. The media thinks they got an outside shot at the college football playoff. Yeah, I don't think NC State's going to be anywhere near what the media thinks they are. You know why? Because they never are. So I think Clemson's going to take care of business. I just hope they're going to score 41 points. That's where I'd like to see them. Put up 4 or 5 touchdowns and some field goals, and let's get some excitement back into the Clemson program. That's what I look forward to on Monday. But I'm going to be watching every snap, every play, so I'm going to be ready Monday night for sure, guys.
I know you've been looking forward to this. We've been talking all summer. I mean, as soon as the season was over, you were ready for more. Let's talk about the college playoffs and what's going on with that and the expansion of it. So coming up, not this year, but real soon, I believe in 2026, we're looking at an expansion of 12 teams. Is that correct?
Yeah. The way they're going to do it is the first 4 are going to get a bye, and everybody else is going to play. So 5 play 12, 6, 11, 7, 10, and 8 play 9. And then they play the winners of those games will play 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right. Is the way they'll do that. But and then home field advantage is going to go to the 5 seed versus the 12 and so forth. And then the 1, 2, 3, and 4 games are going to be bowl games at a neutral site. So that's the way they're going to do it. I've always said, David, I'm more of a traditionalist. If you ask me about college football playoff expansion, I'd keep it right where it is, or I'd go back to 2. Because I want to see the regular season mean a lot. And it's just, it's not going to mean as much when you can lose 3 games and get into the playoffs now. That first game of the year, which we've got some exciting games tomorrow, Georgia, Oregon, Arkansas, Cincinnati, Notre Dame, Ohio State. We got a ton of exciting games tomorrow. Guess what? If we expand this thing to 12, 16, 20 teams, like everybody seems to want, then those games aren't going to mean anything because everybody can lose tomorrow. They can lose week 3, they can lose week 5, and it's not going to matter because guess what? We can still make the playoffs. So it's not going to mean as much. And that's what makes college football special is the regular season. College football is the most special regular season event that we have ever had in the history of sports. And the more you start watering down the regular season and making it all about the playoffs, then you're going to, not just making it all about the playoffs, you're going to make the bowl games mean nothing as well. So if you don't make the top 12 or you don't make the playoffs, then your season's just trash. And that's not true. It's just not true. A lot of teams won bowl games and give them momentum for this year. Bowl games mean a lot. You look at the 2014 Orange Bowl between Clemson and Ohio State. That game, beating Ohio State, that meant a lot to us, and that helped launch our program into what it is. You look at the 2015 Russell Athletic Bowl, which sounds like a lower tier bowl, but guess what? We played Oklahoma in that game, and we were 7-point dogs in that game against Oklahoma, and we beat them 40-6. So that helped catapult us into a college football. Our first of 6, by the way. 6 straight college football playoffs for my Tigers. Had to throw that in there. But that helped catapult us to the first of 6 straight college football playoffs. So if we didn't have that and those bowl games were just absolutely meaningless, then, it wouldn't have helped catapult us into what we are today. I grew up going to a lot of these regular season games. So I just don't want to water down the regular season. And I see where it's going.
Yeah. I mean, you're obviously very passionate about and I agree with you. The regular season for college football is like no other sport. As far as
absolutely.
Yeah. Real quick from a local aspect, Mizzou Tigers. I know you were on cruising on a ship in Alaska, having a great time. But Mizzou gets a big win on Thursday night to start off their season. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I said going into it, I think Brady Cook's the guy, man. I think the local kid, St. Louis kid, I think he's going to have a great year. I think Drinkowitz has got him in the right direction. Drinkowitz is in a good spot at Mizzou because Mizzou is a program that will allow time for him to get the ship corrected. Where you got these other programs like LSU and all these big names that just want to win instantly, Mizzou can be patient as a fan base. They're okay with being patient. So I think this is the year you're going to see Mizzou and Drinkowitz turn the quarter with Brady Cook as quarterback. And, I think Mizzou's win total was 5.5 this year.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
5.5, and it was plus money.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that at all. I think Mizzou's going to win 7 games. I got them going 7-5.
Wow.
So I think Mizzou's going to turn the quarter. Drinkowitz is a good coach. He's recruiting St. Louis. He's recruiting Kansas City, which you have to do that if you're going to have a successful program. You have to recruit where you're at.
That's amazing that you say that because I know that we are taping this and you are going to be on after these guys in the morning, but I already know I can say it because I already know what they're going to say early in the morning is that my guys are touting Mizzou over 5.5 wins even before the season started. And I was like, really? I mean, you got 4 gimme games, but I mean, Mizzou lost to Wyoming a couple years ago, and that was a gimme game too. I know it's different.
Well, yeah, Drinkowitz, this is the time for Drinkowitz. He's had a couple years now, so he's got his players in there. He's got his system in there. He's got things the way he wants it. So look what he did at App State. He was a great coach at App State. And I really think this is the year that they're going to start turning the corner. And then into 2023, you're going to see some talk about them hopefully winning, another 8 or 9 games or so for 2022.
I mean, it's just amazing. You're touting it too. I'm not seeing the 2 games that they're going to steal, that they're going to have to steal this year with the 4 gimmies to get over that 5.5 hump. But we can talk about.
They could. I'm going to say right now they could steal the Florida game. Florida's got a first-year coach and Billy Napier down there. Florida's in a huge transition talent-wise. They got a new quarterback. They could steal that. They could steal that Florida game. Florida's not as good as everybody thinks they are.
Okay. All right. Hey, John, listen, I know it's late. It's late for both of us. I got to get up in 5 hours and do this show in the morning. And I'm so happy that you're at perfect timing at the airport. You're about to load on the plane. You're going to be traveling while these games are going on. As you get home, I want you to have a safe flight. And thanks for coming on. And we will see you next week. Clemson John.
Sounds good, guys. Let's have a good first week.
Lay it out there for me.
And go Tigers.
That's what I thought. All right, everyone. Clemson John.
All right, before we get out of here, I want to thank all my guests. Winning